Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Mike.
Yeah, Mike, do you like the boat music and everything in the beginning? Because it makes sense, right, for this podcast?
Because when I think of private school, I think of boats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we originally were a Love Boat podcast. You never made it on for that, but
Sorry
kept
to
the
have
music.
missed it.
We had fun with that.
We had fun. It was just too much Love Boat. Watching a new episode of Love Boat every week and talking about it was a little too much for me.
I wish we were still doing it, to be honest with you.
I always said I would do it again. I just won't watch the episodes. We'll just talk about the cast.
It's not fun if it doesn't fun. Today we're talking about Private School, rated R, running times an hour and 29 minutes, released July 29th, 1983 in theaters. Directed by Noel Black. I had never heard of him. Had you?
No.
Yeah, and his top four didn't show anything.
Did he ever
either.
do anything?
Skater Dater, ABC Stage 67, Pretty Poison, and Mirrors. I think Mirrors was an old horror movie.
I don't know that it's that old. Is it the one with Kiefer Sutherland?
I don't know, but I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, there's a movie from the 80s was called Mirrors. But if it's yours, I don't know that one either.
The one with Kiefer Sutherland was like in the 2000s.
Well, this director died in 2014, so
Could be him, but probably not.
Probably not.
yeah. The IMDb description: Chris from a girls' boarding school loves Jim from a nearby boys' boarding school. Jordan also wants Jim and plays dirty. Jim and two friends visit the girls' school posing as girls. Christine, played by Phoebe Cates, a student at an exclusive all-girls private school, is in love with Jim, who attends an academy for boys nearby. Christine's arch rival, Jordan, also has her eye on Jim, and she is willing to do whatever she can to steal him away. Jim's uber slob buddy, Bubba, what was his last name? It was like Beauregard, Beauregard.
Oh, was that?
Is going
I didn't
with
pick
Betsy.
up on that.
Yeah, but he's going with Betsy, Christine's cynical friend, though he would probably be unfaithful if any other woman were willing to get near him. And I will bring up something later about Bubba. Bubba and his pal sneak into the girls' school dressed in drag in hopes of reaching the promised land, better known as the women's shower room, while Christine and Jim run away together for the weekend, though their escapade isn't as romantic as they had hoped.
Dana, when you were a young high school student, did you shower
of course
with all your friends?
I mean, when we always just walked around in our underwear all the time.
But it was an all-girls
no
school,
exception.
so that...
I went to an all-girls school.
You have that exception.
My freshman year was all girls.
Did you stay overnight there? Did you stay in the dorms?
Well, even at like sleepovers and
Did
stuff.
you stay in the dorms?
No, Jason, I hate to burst your bubble, but they would not do that.
I know they wouldn't. That's why I was going there.
Yeah.
One of the weirder aspects of this is they show Jordan showering in the first scene. So she's got her own shower in the bathroom.
Yes.
But all these girls left the dorm to run across to the locker room to all shower together.
Yes.
They could have all just showered in their own rooms.
All these girls have very bad peripheral vision as well.
do.
Yeah.
And I might add, like, we'll probably get into the details later, but they were all, like, really, really attractive, except for Betsy. Was that her name? Like, I felt bad for her. I'm
Poor
like, she must have
Betsy.
showed up on set the first day and been like, damn. I'm the funny, ugly girl here. That's no good. I thought I was going to be the hot chick.
I'll bring it up.
Sorry,
now,
I'm not.
Bubba would rather watch his friend hook up with another girl than actually hook up with Betsy.
Yeah.
Oh, when he climbed up on
When he climbed out the window, yeah.
Well,
I thought that was a
I
little
never
strange.
got that. I never understood.
I think it was one of those. He was afraid of the act of it, so he slunk away. Because up until that point,
Because he talked about raping her.
I was going to say the only time he had sex with her before that was she wasn't conscious for it.
He's very well endowed. What else was it?
She had three orgasms.
3 orgasms.
He counted them as
That's what he told her.
snoring next.
Yeah, that's something he told her. Yeah. Playing Christine was Phoebe Cates,
Yeah.
and we've seen Phoebe once
Last year?
so far,
We did-
right? Just the
we
one.
did Fast
I was
Times
trying to
last
think which
year,
one,
yeah.
in Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
And we saw much more of Phoebe in Fast Times. I was a little disappointed with her.
she doesn't show as much
In a
this,
movie
yeah.
of this nature, I was surprised that they didn't cast Phoebe Cates because they knew she was an easy.
We got,
But that's what
Naked
Betsy
girl.
Russell was there for.
And
I'm
Sylvia
fine with
Christel.
that. But I was kind of surprised.
notice
Like,
that?
you hire Phoebe
the sex
Cates.
ed teacher. You know who she was,
did
right?
you notice that Brink Stevens was one of the girls in the shower?
Did you know Paula Abdul was one of the cheerleaders?
Yeah, I read the
yeah.
IMDb
She was?
thing
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I didn't catch. I didn't
She
catch
in
that.
fact choreographed the whole dance sequence and cheerleader thing.
Which is really weird that Paula Abdul would be one of the cheerleaders there, because she might have been the only person of color in the entire movie. I didn't see her in this, but this was a very white school.
We'll be doing another Phoebe Cates movie this year for 84 when we get in 84 when we do Gremlins.
Sure. That's 84, huh?
Yeah.
I thought that was later. Okay. All right, cool.
Drop Dead Fred, and that's her top 4 there.
Drop Dead Fred's a great movie.
Private School, Gremlins, Fast Times, and Drop Dead Fred.
Yes.
Private School's in her top 4.
Yes.
Well,
she didn't do a lot of movies.
What about the one with
Kevin Kline locked her down?
What's the one where she's with Willie Ames and she's very naked in that also? That's like... I kind of thought that was this. When the movie ended and she had only showed her butt, like from a side butt, I'm like,
Phoebe Cates doesn't have a big...
no, but she's got another...
She didn't want to do any nudity and didn't have it in her contract.
And then Kevin Kline married her when she was like 20 and just shut it down.
She's 20 in this movie.
But yeah, she did another like very naked movie. It was like Paradise Lost or something like that.
That's what it's called, I think. Paradise Lost. Just Paradise.
Paradise, okay. But I thought that I got those mixed up with this because when the
movie
was 82,
ended, but you didn't want to do it because you said it was too much nudity. Yeah. And Brian wouldn't have been able to like.
He wouldn't be able to control himself.
You would have been like the 3 boys on the dance floor who can't dance with a girl without having to
pass the balloon.
Yeah,
boners on the dance. And I don't know what kind of boners pop in a balloon.
I was gonna say Bubba's got a very pointy boner.
I know we haven't even started the cast yet, but the dude that plays
we started with Phoebe.
Well, I know, but we haven't even gotten through one person yet. But the nerdy kid with the glasses.
She's also in Gremlins too, the new batch.
Was she? I saw that in the theater and never saw it again. I don't remember liking it that much.
No,
Roy was the nerdy kid. I'm glad they put the pencil behind his ear during the dance.
So we know.
Okay, that's the nerd. He's got the glasses and he's got the pencil behind his ear.
The glasses was just all they needed.
But you have to have the pencil.
Well, it's just like when they have the ugly girl, but then she just takes that, lets her hair down and she just takes off her glasses and she's beautiful.
And this kid, he was actually, I don't know if he's anybody, but he was a good-looking kid, but you had to make him a nerd. He put the glasses on, put a pencil behind his ear. Everybody will identify him as the nerd.
Betsy Russell, she played Jordan. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of her early on. I didn't understand why she was so against Phoebe Cates in the very beginning. It just didn't make sense. The things she was trying to do to her, it just seemed weird.
Well, she seemed very happy that Bubba was staring at her through when taking the Polaroid.
Yes.
And as a person that took Polaroid pictures, like those things are so loud that
and he was just like, he would just drop it.
So she knew she was being spied upon. So then she goes into Phoebe Cates' room and allows her towel to be pulled off. And somehow that caused a controversy with her and Phoebe Cates. Like, they had to go get a bag of shit.
It seemed like they had
on her front.
I think they had issues before this, and we don't get to see all that. But
there was not a lot of character development.
The shit on her door was just.
You do that on a doorstep outside, not in your dorm, in front of their dorm room door. Like, you're setting your whole building on fire.
And then the whole hallway stinks.
Yeah. The hallway where you live, because she's in the room next to you. You have a Jack and Jill bathroom, so you're smelling it too.
Yeah, I hate that they had the Jack and Jill bathroom. That was kind of crappy.
I had those in my fraternity house in college, too. So I know that. We shared our bathroom with the guys across the...
they were both 20. Betsy Russell and Phoebe Cates are both 20 in this.
Do you have Matthew Modine's age? He looked a little old for
Matthew Modine was 24.
24?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He looked old.
And Bubba was 23.
Okay. Like, when they showed Matthew Modine the first time, I was like, is he sexy? Is he a heartthrob? I never got that image of him. And when Jordan was trying to steal him.
His look changed a lot.
Well, now for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, not against now. I feel like you think Matthew Modine, you don't necessarily think of that version of Matthew Modine. You think of
Vision Quest.
Or Full Metal Jacket, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I said we were watching the Matthew Modine movie, Michelle said, "Oh, Vision Quest, I'll watch it with you." And I'm like, "No, private school." She's like, "I'm going upstairs." I don't know what Vision Quest is. Is that in his top 4?
We're not there yet. We're doing Betsy Russell.
Sorry,
and hers was mostly the Saw movies because she was in Saw 3, 4, and 5.
Really?
Yeah, and then Private School was the other thing.
Those
in her
are
top
all
4,
the Saw movies. I saw 1 and 2 and then dropped that after that, so I haven't seen her since that.
I know I watched
which ones
all of them
I saw.
up through 6, I think. I want to say up to
So,
6.
not to
maybe.
like dive down a Saw rabbit hole, but like, I thought you died in those movies. So how is she in all these? Is she the Saw person? Is she the person killing people?
She might have been one of the police.
Oh,
I think
maybe
she was a
other
police.
cops in it. Maybe I thought if you're in one Saw movie, you don't make it. To
I think I remember her being
Dead.
a cop of some sort or something. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Don't remember.
But up next was Matthew Modine playing Jim.
I wonder what happened with her though. She was a very attractive woman. Like, how did she not have
Kevin Kline's brother married her, locked her down.
Were the Klein brothers on set that day? And they're just like, I'll take the one on the left, you take the one on the right. But yeah, I'm surprised she didn't have a bigger career than what she had. But whatever. I'm sure there were 1,000 women that looked just like her in Hollywood in 1983. So maybe she asked for too much or didn't
This
do
is our
enough.
first Matthew
Harvey
Modine
Weinstein
movie, right?
said, I'll see you in my office. And she said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
We haven't done any Matthew Modine movies yet, right?
Not yet, I don't think. Because,
So-
I mean, this has to be, well, this is obviously before Full Metal
This
Jacket.
is not in his top 4 private school.
No, I wouldn't
imagine.
think so.
Is Stranger Things in this top
No.
four?
Is Cutthroat
can't
Island
think
in
if
this
I've
top
seen him in anything.
Cutthroat Island did make it, yes.
Really?
Cutthroat Island's in his top 4. How
That was
about
supposed to be one of the biggest bombs in
well,
history.
this IMDb algorithm of what's in your top 4?
Yeah, it
is
doesn't
the
make
weirdest.
any sense.
How about Batman Dark Knight Rises?
That is in there. Dark Knight
Really?
Rises.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's the
I never
cop
saw
in
that.
that.
And then the other ones have got to be Full Metal Jacket and Vision Quest.
Full Metal Jacket, yes, but not Vision Quest.
Not Vision
Interesting.
Quest.
This is where it
Vision
this is where it doesn't make
Quest,
sense.
Was he Is that the wrestling movie?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I did see that. So was he the wrestler?
Yeah, he was the main
kid?
guy,
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hooking up with the older
47
woman.
meters
She was like
down
24.
is his other movie.
I didn't even know he was in
Oh, is that one of those trapped underwater
with the-
getting
the
attacked by a
tank,
shark
yeah,
thing?
or
Okay.
shark cage thing.
And then we
Yeah.
saw we had
What was it called? 47 meters
47
down?
meters down, yeah. We had,
That was the original. There is a sequel.
Was it 57 meters down? You have to get deeper. Get deeper.
playing Bubba was Michael Zurek.
Has he been in anything?
Yeah, he has
Yes.
actually.
Really?
Has he?
Did you
Wasn't
recognize
he
him?
Was he in Bachelor Party?
I don't recall if he was in Bachelor. He was in The Woman in Red.
I think I know who you're talking about in Bachelor Party who looks like him.
Yes.
But no, he was not in
Okay.
Bachelor Party. Like the friend,
He was
the gross
in,
friend.
He's in 2 episodes of Family Ties.
Oh, jeez.
One of Michael's friends, Alex's friends.
I don't remember if he was. Yeah, he might have been one of Mallory's.
Mallory can do better than him. Come on.
No, I
she's not
think
dating him.
it was a student in her class. He
Oh,
might have
okay.
been, yeah, I'm not sure. But The Woman in Red, Private School, Family Ties, and Betsy's Wedding were in his top 4.
Okay. Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, when I saw this, when I started watching this, I was thinking of the dude from Last American Virgin. In fact, this movie felt very much like Last American Virgin.
This is
and
yeah, not as good as
not
Last
as good as
American
Last
Virgin,
American
yeah.
Virgin, but they also had like the heavier, hornier friend that was
They
much
always make
more.
the heavier guy is always the hornier guy too, right? It always
As the
works out
heavier
like
guy, I was always not the hornier one. I don't know how that works out, but I don't know.
that. Up next was Fran Ryan. She was playing Miss Dutchbach.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I thought this was Miss Balbricker for the first like 2 scenes that she was in, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, is this Miss Balbricker? And then I looked her up just because I was confused, and it's not her. But I found a real nice tidbit of info about her.
What, Miss Prudence Dutchbach or Miss Douchebag, as the kids called her? What did you find out about her, though?
Hang on, talk about her top 4
Well,
for
I'll
just
talk about
1
real
second.
quick the very beginning of this movie, song that plays on the opening credits.
sure. There was a
Harry
great
Nilsson. I love that song.
Great opening song.
Yeah,
I thought
Who
the
sings
music
it?
was terrible.
Harry Nilsson. Oh, really? Phoebe
I
Cates
hated
is
all
she sings
the
2 of
music.
the songs.
Yes,
the first song,
Phoebe
Harry
Cates
Nilsson,
sang
was
that
great.
song that when they were
Breaking My Heart?
frolicking in the water.
Was that her song?
Yeah.
But
You're,
the-
sang that.
you're
the
breaking
fuck-
my heart.
The
So
fuck you song,
you.
like
That's a great song.
I remember that. Like as soon as I put this movie on, I started playing. I'm like, oh, I remember this movie now. All the memories washed in on me, and I was just like, I know exactly what this movie
I like
is
Harry
now. as
You
soon as
Nilsson
I-
remember
a lot,
watching
though.
it several times in different sections of it when you
I
were
was gonna say,
a teenager.
yeah, I watched this on Prism a lot in the '80s, like through
That's why
a little wavy.
Brian would have been good for this movie because it was one of those HBO movies that was on all the time in the 80s, you know?
It did have one of the best lyrics of all time. It said, "You stepped on my ass and broke my glasses. Fuck you." I'm like, that barely even rhymes. Why did you put that in
Harry
there?
Nilsson is great. He did the Popeye soundtrack.
Oh,
Did
really?
he really?
Yes.
Like he wrote all that music?
Yes, he did.
Oh wow, he did a much better job on Popeye then, because that's not a good. This was not good. So anyway, Fran Ryan,
He was heavy in his drinking days by here.
Fran Ryan, her first husband died in a plane crash in 1951 when she was
Wow.
pregnant with their only child. Then she remarried a guy in 1953. He died in a plane crash in 1953.
I'm sorry.
She married two guys that died in plane crashes in
I hope there was
51
some
and
serious,
53.
lot of questions for her.
Yeah.
I hope she got questioned
I
a
hope
lot.
so.
So
too.
the second guy she married, Howard Schaefer, perished in a plane crash in Oregon in 1953. He was piloting the plane. The wreckage of Howard's plane was not discovered until 15 years later. In November 1968, the remains of Howard and his passengers were never found. All that was ever found at the crash site was a woman's shoe, 4 combs, and a pair of eyeglasses. So she married two guys that died in plane crashes. The
Did she
odds
marry
of that
again
must
after
be,
that, I wonder?
I don't know.
I wouldn't marry her.
I wouldn't
Shit.
either, yeah.
I mean, I've heard of Black Widows, but like, if you want to poison me in my sleep, I'm good with it. Don't get me on a plane and sabotage it. Like,
Oh
I don't want
my
to go that
gosh.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I thought, a real interest. Like the fact that she was able to go on with life for another. I mean, she lived until, much longer after that, because that happened in the 50s. So she able. Oh man, that would have haunted me. That I
Yeah.
married two guys that were.
She was in Stripes.
She was in Stripes. Yep. As soon as I realized she wasn't Miss Balbricker, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, this chick. She was in, like,
Balbricker was in last week's movie.
she was in Sudden Impact, yeah, but this chick was in like Family Ties. She was much more of like not Family Ties. Facts of Life. She was like a TV kind of actress
Yes.
in the 80s.
One episode of
for
this, an episode of Highway to Heaven, an
definitely
episode of
that
this,
kind
yeah.
of actress for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Playing Betsy was Kathleen Wilhoit. She was in Roadhouse. Fire in the
Girls.
Sky.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Fire in the Sky. That one, I like that movie.
That
I
was
know
a good
her
movie.
from Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls.
Was she a
Okay.
Gilmore Girl, this girl?
No,
She's got to
she
be a
was.
mom, right?
She
Or
was the
grandma?
sister of. She was actually Milo. Vika.
Anthony-
She played his mother.
Interesting.
in this, yeah.
She
Okay.
actually took Bubba back too. I was surprised.
Bubba did not. Bubba did not
She could
deserve
do
her.
better than Bubba.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And up next was Ray Walston. Why he was in this
Oh
movie?
my gosh.
Must have been paying off some gambling debts.
As
or
soon as I
something.
saw
That's why.
I know. When I saw him, I was so
Sylvia
surprised.
Christel was.
That's why she's in it. Yeah.
As soon as I saw Ray Walston in this, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, why is he in this movie? I'm
Yeah.
like, and then I thought to myself, I'm like, I know Ray Walston, of course, from like Fast Times and from Johnny
You think
Dangerously
Phoebe
and my
brought him
favorite,
over?
my favorite Martian. And
He was
I'm like,
dating Phoebe.
but really, what it comes down to is like Ray Walston is not. He's no Shakespearean actor. He's just like a guy taking jobs. We know him because we know him from a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but. We know him because he did shitty movies.
We know because he was taking and he was doing episodes of Different Strokes because that's he had to
Is
do.
that one
you
of
know?
his
Yeah.
things?
He was in
Yeah.
The Stand. He played
yes,
the
yep,
guy with the dog. I forget
yep,
his
yep.
name.
The dog was Kodiak. His
Yeah.
name might have been Ray, but I don't remember now.
Speaking of Ray Walston and Popeye, but that's in his top
Oh,
four. Popeye.
sure. He's.
Oh, he was in Popeye? I don't
he's
remember
his
that.
dad.
Popeye's dad.
He's Pappy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't
Pappy,
remember that. It's been a long time.
Pappy Eye? Is that his name? Pappy Eye? Popeye and Pappy Eye?
Oh, my
I think Mike
God.
might
He
be
lives
having
on
a heart
that.
attack.
He lives on that boat.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
By the way, Popeye, man, underrated movie.
I like that
that's
movie a lot.
great
I haven't
movie.
seen that in so long. As a kid, I loved it though.
Yeah, it's like one of the few things I like Robin Williams in.
I
Yeah.
agree because I'm not a Robin
Me
Williams fan
either. Yeah, I watched that a lot as a kid, but I probably haven't seen it since I was 10.
I feel
It's
they
been a
didn't
while
have
since I've watched it, but I could quote
like
a lot.
sometimes like when they didn't make Barbie until they found a woman that looked like Barbie. They
Yeah.
didn't do Popeye until they cast a woman that looked exactly like
Yeah.
olive oil.
She
They're
really
like, damn,
did.
Shelley Duvall looks just like olive oil. Make me a script for Popeye
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they had to have a
It was
perfect person for that.
That was you could not get better
No.
casting. And the guy they got for Wimpy was good too.
Yes.
Sylvia Christel, she played Miss Copuletta, the sex ed teacher.
And she was wife number 8 or 9. Maybe I lost
Yes.
count. She was at the graduation at the end.
He was the one
right.
she had to get
the sex ed teacher that
She was pushed into the pool, remember, and he was
Oh
giving
my
her first aid.
God.
into the
I know.
wading pool that she was drowning in. You drowned in
It seemed
3
like she
inches
didn't know
of
how to.
water.
I'm going to say she didn't know how to swim. That's what it looked like. You know.
But all she had to do was stand up. I think she would have been fine.
But then there would have been no reason for all the other people to jump in and save her.
I'll tell you, Rita's dad was my favorite character in the entire movie, but we'll get to that later.
She died young, Sylvia
Oh,
Christel. She
damn.
died in 2012. She was only 60 from cancer.
Mm.
Wow.
I know her from movies like Emmanuel 3,
Oh, is
Emmanuel
that-
in Space.
Oh, is she one of those girls?
She's Emmanuel.
Oh.
She was also in Private Lessons.
I'm surprised she kept her clothes on in
Private
this one. I mean, I know
Lessons,
she was in
yes.
that see-through wet
She was in the
outfit, but
Concorde Airport 79.
I did not know she was like. Wait, so Private Lessons? This isn't a sequel, is it?
No. Same producer.
Is this the private universe? Are we in the private
CU?
universe?
The PSCU?
The PU?
Private School Creative
The
Universe?
private- So there's a private lessons, then private school, and
And I think Private Tutor,
get
all
the
done by the
hell
same.
out of here.
I think all done by the same producer.
I was unaware that this was a middle part of a trilogy. I might
That's
have
how-
to go back and watch the rest.
That's how they got Sylvia Kirsten, because she was contractually obligated to be after Private Lessons to be in private school.
I had no idea about this, so I might have to go back. Was she playing the same character in that, or just okay? So
I looked all this up just because I was done.
this wasn't at the tip of your tongue.
No,
like, oh, yes,
no.
Playing Rita was Carrie Lizer.
Rita. Okay, the blonde girl. Okay, yeah, she was the one whose dad was drunk at the
She
Parents'
was
Day.
Jordan's roommate.
Yeah,
right?
she was the one
Okay.
who got her top ripped off at the cheerleading thing with the teacher. When they all got
So
On the horse?
no,
That
When
was
they were
out sexy.
cheerleading.
when her one
That was
boob
Jordan
and the,
on the horse.
yeah,
Right?
No,
when
this is the cheerleading
Her one
scene.
boob and the gym teacher's boob both popped out.
Yes.
from the shoddy.
And then she got drunk.
yeah, she got wasted. Yeah,
maybe I missed some of the finer nuances.
I
But-
find that impossible.
How did they figure out that the uniforms were sabotaged and who did it? 2, why was Jordan there and in trouble?
Yeah.
And 3, why did nobody mention the fact that she pulled her top off and was riding topless
That
on a
was
horse
okay.
the day
one
before? and
lady
nobody
liked
cared?
it. She said, now that's the best
Happy Gilmore's grandma liked that a lot. Yeah.
interpretation of bareback riding I've ever seen.
Wow.
They liked
Yeah,
it.
Maybe
people
that
get-
was
Yeah, there was no evidence that their outfits had been tampered with. I
Right.
mean, I don't think there was. I mean, slip stitch, things happen. You know, the girls wore them last year, and now they're all worn out. I don't know. Yeah, for them to get in trouble for that was
Right.
ridiculous.
Up next was this
But it
guy.
was also the fact that I guess they just switched tops because they were just grabbing how those girls that sabotaged them knew that they were sabotaging the specific people they wanted to get.
I don't know.
Playing Mr. Flugel was Richard Stahl. That was the dude that just was like,
Was that Rita's dad, the drunk one?
no, this was the one that, what was that? Was that her dad? It was that guy that was that shows up at the party.
Yeah.
That is her dad, then.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
her,
He
right?
was
Yeah.
my
I couldn't remember
favorite
if it was her
character
dad,
in the
yeah.
whole thing. Like, you know,
He sits down in between them at the graduation.
the fact that yes, he's the one that's hitting on Bubba at the end, like rubbing his
Yeah.
5 o'clock shadow
Yeah,
and
it's like,
being
so
like, "Hey,
obvious,
baby." Dana, you're not saying a lot about this movie.
Listen, we don't need a lecture from me on how awful this movie was and how wrong this movie was and how
Somehow I think
Now
Dana's
remember,
scores
this
won't
movie
match
was
ours.
83. You got to remember that.
I don't need to remember that. This movie, there were plenty of movies in 83 that did not
There was plenty of
behave.
movies in 83 that were worse
Here's
than
my
this.
thing. I felt like they were trying so hard to make this a Fast Times at Ridgemont High or a Porky's type of movie. And it
Dana, that's all they
felt
did back then.
so
And
flat.
Once one of them was successful, all kinds of cookie cutters
God,
came out
it was-
afterwards.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say make the quote that's going to be bashed for this. I thought this was better than Fast Times at
Oh,
Ridgemont
you're
High.
out of your mind. You're insane for that.
I
opinion.
think-
That's a bad
I
opinion.
don't like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Well-
I think that movie is not funny.
This is the last time Michael will be appearing on this podcast.
And like there's the whole abortion thing in the middle. That's just like
Part
what
of
a
the summer of
downer.
abortion.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
but there
not-
were
that had a
a
deep plot.
number
That had
of
plot.
rapes and there was a rape and attempted I mean, when you're ripping someone's clothes off, that's assault. And
In this movie you're talking
yeah,
about? With
yeah.
Betsy's, or
Multiple
Jordan's?
times where that happened. I don't know. I think I'd rather see a movie where someone got an abortion rather than
Oh,
You can
I'm
not,
not
What
saying.
you
happened
can
in
not
this
like
one?
Fast Times, but to say this is better than Fast
Yeah.
Times is just.
Because this
Well,
is
put it this way:
at the
if I
worst,
had
a
to choose
rip-off of
between
Fast.
watching one or the other, yes, I would pick Private School because at least there was.
wow. That's a hot take right
Yeah, I
there.
don't
It's so
think many
bad,
people are
it's
gonna say
funny.
that.
It's so bad, it's funny. And
Okay. That's
Fast
okay.
Times is
That's why
okay.
we have different people on this
Yeah.
podcast.
No,
to
it's
get
fun.
opinions
It's like,
from
Yeah.
different.
There's other movies that I've liked, but I loved Zapped. him and Brian did not like Zapped. I love that movie. You know what I mean?
Well, wait a minute. How can you like Zapped and not think this is good? I mean, it's like
You don't know my score for this
apples and
movie yet.
apples. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You're right. I didn't know. You're right.
We haven't even
I
got through the
apologize.
cast yet.
This
Can we get through the cast quick so we can dive into the subtext?
Well, I just got a few. The last three I have here are all uncredited. Paula Abdul and Brinkley Stevens, which you had mentioned
who
earlier.
is
But
Brinkley
Martin,
Stevens?
She was one of the girls that got naked in the
No,
shower.
but who is she in general?
she's from
She's
the
a
Slumber
scream
Party
queen from the
Massacre,
80s.
oh,
which
okay.
we've done.
Really? So this
Yes.
is the Slumber Party Massacre, and she moved her way up to this, huh?
Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl,
Slave Girls from
Ballerama,
Beyond Infinity.
Nightmare Sisters.
Mike is taking these off like he knows them by heart.
But Paula
Dude,
Abdul
this
was a
was like the
cheerleader.
80s when I was going to all these horror conventions and they were all there signing autographs. Her and Linnea Quigley and Michelle Bauer and all that. Yep, exactly.
And was Paula Abdul actually in this? Like,
Yes.
she
was a
saw
cheerleader.
her?
She was
Yeah,
one of the
saw her?
cheerleaders.
Wow, crazy! I didn't
Yep.
see that.
And Martin Mull was a
Yes,
drugstore
Martin
clerk.
Mull.
Yes.
And I'd like to
Also
like,
on Roseanne.
If you're a
Yeah, he was.
teenager and you go into a pharmacy and ask for prophylactics, like I've never even heard prophylactics used in the dental
Yeah, did
term.
he think?
ever.
Was
Yeah, I
there
missed that
another
one,
word that they
Well,
maybe
it's-
thought he said
when
that
he's-
sounded like it?
And again,
Do they
this
use
is
some sort of prophylactic in a dentistry? Is there something that's called
I
that?
thought maybe it was a word that might have sounded like it that he misheard. I couldn't figure out what.
maybe
Like
it was supposed to
prophylactic.
be.
dental
Just,
jam?
I mean, you're preventing something, so maybe you're preventing like cavities or something like
Yeah.
that. But for a teenager to come in there and ask for prophylactic, I think they wants dental equipment.
But did you like the fact that the toothpaste and toothbrushes were spurt toothpaste?
Yeah.
I also thought that, this was the scene that most made me think of Last American Virgin, because there was that scene where they went to the pharmacist to get the crab medication.
when they
Your
got
balls
crabs,
are
yes,
burning.
yeah.
So I was thinking that this
That
whole
movie's
time.
good.
But
Did you ever watch that movie before you were supposed to? Yeah.
Last American Virgin is
It's really good.
far superior to this movie. Yeah, no.
It was my favorite movie that year.
It might have been mine too. No, E.T. wasn't probably my
E.T. was
favorite.
up there, yeah.
Wait, what year was that? 82?
Last year, 82, yeah. Last year,
Yeah.
1982.
Did you know that Rick Springfield's band members were in that
Yes.
band in the beginning there?
Oh, is that who they were?
I figured they had to be somebody. They were just playing way too much and
Yeah.
way too long.
But they were actors
Members
in the movie as well?
of
Or?
his-
They
yeah,
played
they were
the
in the
band
band.
at the dance in the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
They played
all right.
as a band.
I got you.
But yeah.
Was there Rick Springfield music in this movie? I'm sorry.
No, they were playing.
Just his band.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the one Rick Springfield song I
Look,
know, so I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
The one
This is
song,
not
yeah.
worthy of Springfield stature.
Maybe not.
This isn't General Hospital.
So when you're trying to sneak into girls' rooms to take Polaroid pictures of them, why would you put the heavy guy on top of your pyramid?
I thought the same
Like,
thing
you
too.
put the
He's
little
the best
sense.
photographer.
You put the tiny little twink guy on top of the shoulders and put
he
it
probably
in
had the camera. He's like, the camera's mine, man.
I'm going up. But the fact that they're three high on shoulders, which I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do that. That's impossible to put three guys on shoulders, especially when you're a teenager. You're breaking necks there.
I like that Royal Crown Cola was also in this movie.
Prominently,
Yeah.
yes. Is Roy that kid, the one with glasses? And,
Yes.
Yeah, he was opening RC Colas a lot. In
Yes.
this. They must have had a sponsorship.
That was their product placement, yeah.
But getting back to the whole peeking in the window, did anybody count how many times Bubba fell out, like the second or third story window, completely unharmed?
John Belushi fell off a ladder in Animal House, and so
that was just
they said,
okay to do it,
completely,
yeah.
let's
completely
rip that
Animal
off like a
House.
bunch
Yeah.
of times.
And then the one he fell on an entire pile of like beer cans and stuff, and just like, just shake it off.
Shake it off and go. Damn. I got notes, but I just gotta see what's going on.
They said that Betsy Russell said in an interview that after seeing her perform in her nude scenes, that the producers wrote another topless scene later in the film that was not in her contract, but she refused to do it.
I wonder if
That was probably the bedroom scene where everybody was
she got
hiding.
naked and
Yeah.
everybody had to hide in the closet under the bed and making noises. And the fact that she wasn't into it, I get, because it's Bubba.
And then they're all in the closet, then they hitting him, knocking him back down under the
She seemed to be very
ridiculous.
willing to get naked in front of lots of people. So the fact that she was apprehensive in that scene, but I get it. You're in some guy's room who you don't want to be there with. What do you think about that, Dana?
Yeah.
I know
Listen.
when I'm in some room with a guy that I don't want to be with and he's trying to get me naked, I usually
You could get naked in front of half the world, but that doesn't mean you're just going to get naked in front of some guy you don't like. There's a big difference, and he's disgusting. Disgusting.
What, really? I mean, he wasn't disgusting.
No, he was disgusting.
I think all these guys
Gross.
look terrible as women with the big shiny red lipstick.
Oh, my
and
God.
So sweaty. Like the Matthew Modine part when he was in there just like turning the thermostat up and he was getting wetter and wetter as he's just dripping.
It was like an airplane joke, basically.
I swear to God, I don't know what the dates are, how they line up, but if they didn't take Bubba and Roy as the models for Kip and Henry in Bosom Buddies, oh my God, they looked like
Maybe.
the
I mean,
same
I think
wardrobe,
Bosom
same
Buddies was
wings.
early 80s, so it might have been before this.
Might have been,
yeah,
but-
but it's possible, yeah.
But a lot of these movies have that three guys,
Yeah.
like your star, who's usually the virgin that we're going to try to get laid through it, and then the boisterous guy that's the worldly guy that knows everything, and then the nerd too.
It's called a formula.
I know. Listen, I get it. I get it. But this movie was so obvious with their formula.
Yeah, that's the thing that was obvious with the formula. You could tell what they were trying to do. And so going back to
Every time Dana stops a sentence with her, I love it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, to be fair,
So there's the one part going back to the cheerleading scene when their shirts, the seams come out, and there's not one cheerleader on this planet who was going to a game practicing without wearing a bra.
Okay.
Just
I don't
throughout
know
this
that.
wole movie, she's
This was the
horseback
80s.
riding.
It was the 80s.
Well, she
and
was
she's not wearing a bra.
Purposely trying to
No,
get
but she didn't have it on
topless.
to begin with. You know how painful that would be?
I don't.
Of a girl that size to be on a horse, going up and down, jumping. That any real person would have them taped down so they are not moving. And then they're, of course, the whole sunbathing in the middle of a horse field where everyone's running around with their horses. Like, you're going to get trampled to
awesome.
death. I just hated every minute. This movie made me angry.
I had a feel, as I was watching this, I was like, man, Dana's not going to like this movie at all.
No. And then the old man grabbing his own daughter's boob. Like, what do you
Wait,
do?
whoa.
He
Yeah.
grabbed the
Grabbing her
little girl,
boob, too?
and then he came over here to the other side where his daughter was, and he was like rubbing his hand up and down.
That was
my God, the drunk dad.
the drunk dad.
The drunk
Yeah.
dad, okay.
I just
Okay.
the amount of hate I have for this whole movie.
We might be getting into the negatives.
I love it. I love it. Rita's dad by far was my favorite character with the drink. Like, as soon as she comes up, she's like, "Hey, Daddy, how you doing?" He's like, "I can use another drink." He just hands her the empty. Now I want to know. So he, during the whole the sex ed teacher falling in the pool, and they're rescuing her, and giving her CPR, whatever the hell
Emmanuel.
they're raping her, or just like all piling on. He was underneath the tablecloth.
Yes.
Hiding.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes,
and then he put it back on. And then the next time you see him, he stumbles out of the woods to the graduation. Was he just like hanging out like for weeks? Just weeks.
He had the same suit on,
He had
right?
the same suit on. So he was just like hanging out drunk and say, "Oh, my daughter's
Like a-
graduating. They should
Is that
show
a
up."
seersucker? Is that what they call it?
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I'm really confused. Why did Bubba show up to the graduation in drag?
Yeah, and Roy had like a fake. He had that like Beastie Boys sabotage mustache
Yes.
and glasses.
Yeah,
And Matthew
but was-
Modine was just like dressed regular. So why were they in costume in any way? You're right. That made zero sense. And the fact that he was dressed as a woman with his 5 o'clock, like, dude, when you're dressed up like a woman, you gotta shave at least that day because you're in a big scruffy. You could see his mustache line and stuff like that. But Rita's dad, whatever his name is, Rita's dad, he will be called
Mr. Flugal.
He loved him. He loved her.
He had the move of the movie that I just went like, holy. When he walked up to the side of the pool, squatted down,
put his foot in it.
swung his leg, and got up. And it was like, how did he not fall into the pool?
Yeah, he's a professional drunk, man. We can do that kind of stuff.
Well,
That was-
professional drunk or not, if you did that, if
That was
I
pretty-
did that,
yeah.
if anybody in this room did that,
Who would have fell in?
9 times out of 10 they would have fallen
Well,
in
the
the
fact
pool
that
if they were stone cold sober.
the sex ed teacher fell in the pool was ridiculous on its
of
like
course.
just because she's standing right by the edge of the pool and
That he was giving her,
Jordan's
that he
dad.
was making out with her instead of giving her mouth to mouth. Was
she
just
became
so ridiculous.
wife number 9, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Oh man, that whole part was my favorite part of the whole movie because that's while the Ray Walston in the roles
Well,
Ray
wife
Walston
9
was
was
the
way
best.
better than wife 8.
for sure.
Okay, but I just had to look up Richard Stahl because he looked. I can't remember what it is that I know him so well from. But
And which
anyway,
guy, who's this?
What do you know him
Richard
from?
Stahl was
The
the
favorite
drunk
guy.
dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
His IMDb profile picture
he's been in a
is
bunch
him
of
under
stuff.
the table in this movie.
That's just a picture
That's
of
how I
phones.
know. Oh, this
Your
is the
phone's
right.
listening
It
to
is
us now,
listening to it.
But he
I
was one of
changed
those
it.
guys that was like in
I
every
changed
show
Yes.
in the 80s.
Yeah, oh, he was
yeah,
in
I changed
Overboard.
it.
That's
That
what
was
I
me.
know him from. Overboard.
You updated IMDb.
I
to
got
put-
IMDb Pro just so I could do that.
Yeah, did you? Because I mean, that's how I knew it was him right away. I'm like, oh, that's the picture. That's great.
the Ray Walston, not Miss Balbricker rape scene in the back of the Rolls Royce there. With
Wait
the
a minute.
You should
there
watch
wasn't a
Porky's,
rape
Dana.
scene?
well, I mean, he kind of
She was
she was
into
into
it.
it. She was definitely into it. After he said, "I'm going to give you a huge check to you and get in the back of my car." But the fact that the kids got in there too in the microphone right out of MASH the movie because they did that
Oh,
to
yeah.
Frank and Hot
Hot
Lips in
Lips.
the movie with the microphone or the microphone, I guess, right? Yeah, microphone, yeah.
Something sounds
Loudspeaker.
strange. Our voices are amplified.
By the way, I want that. I want to be able to be like, get the fuck out of my
Oh,
way.
I know. You know what they have now that I invented in my head years ago, but it's a little light up thing that you put on your back windshield and it gives people the finger or it gives them the peace sign or maybe a thumbs up, but
So you
it's
just
a
hit a
finger
button?
and yes. I invented that
So
like
you
decades
want that
ago in my
because
head.
people
I've
are
not
like
seen that
riding
in
your
any-
ass.
Yeah, I want that for Andy when he's behind me.
I
I'll give him the
something to
finger.
get people out of my way.
I
need the
you've seen somebody that
cowl
actually
thing.
has it?
I've
or
seen
no?
it on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody that actually has it.
Yeah, it's about the size of a real hand, and it just, I guess, suction cups to your window, and it'll give people
And
the
you can-
finger
you
or
can
give
light
them.
it up?
Yeah, it lights up different. Like I guess it's like a clock where the different parts go down to form the whatever you have. Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
yeah,
I need to be able to get people out of my way, though. I don't care what they're.
Yeah.
If you
Out
give
of
me
the
the
way.
finger, I'd be like, oh God,
But you
I
know,
got
you'd
to
be
run
saying,
this
like,
person
you'd
off
be
the
saying,
road
like,
now.
smart ass shit,
Jesus.
so you'd be like, just like talking shit about the person in front of you too. You wouldn't just be saying move. You'd be saying like move, you piece of
Yeah.
whatever. You know,
Yep.
you'd be saying
or you need the ludicrous song to play when you hit your horn.
move,
Bitch, get out the way. Yes.
Nice. Damn, I hate when I write notes down and then I don't know the context.
Doesn't make sense if you just
I
put
wrote-
2 or 3 words.
I wrote, "Is that enough?" And I'm just like, "Damn!"
Enough
I'm like,
what?
I don't know, but it was funny at the
Was
time.
it enough rape?
I wrote, "Is that enough?"
I wrote so much ripping off of clothes like it's nothing. Like it's
Enough
okay to
boobs?
just go up to someone and
They rip off a
rip
lot
their
of clothes
clothes
and
off.
zapped.
Do
So
they?
remember all the
Yeah,
clothes that was
yeah.
coming off?
Yeah.
But it was mostly like a lot of the times it was all of the girls, but all the guys' clothes was staying on.
They had bras on too when they got their clothes ripped off.
Yeah.
When she's riding topless and after Bubba rips her shirt off, the scene starts off with her having a helmet and he rips the shirt off of her and
No,
she still
he
has a
doesn't.
helmet. And then as she's riding in slow motion with her hair waving in the breeze,
Looks like she didn't even
does not-
realize it,
but
right? She act like she didn't
I
even
don't think
feel
she
it.
cared.
Yeah, I don't think she cared.
But she all of a sudden didn't have a helmet on either. I was like, she just clearly had a helmet on. I don't think there's any laws governing whether you have to have a helmet on or not, but in the continuity of the
Those are my
movie.
least favorite scenes. Anytime they were out there with the horses.
Do you know what
Yeah.
cheer they were doing when the boobs popped out?
Yeah, it was number 69.
It was
the
cheer.
Rickety Racket.
It was cheer 69. I was like real subtle. Okay, I was like, no one got that joke in
They were
1983.
probably like, get it? Get it?
And why doesn't this school have better security? If these fucking kids are able to run up on this dormitory nightly and assault these women, you would think at the very
Maybe
least
lock your door,
you'd
too, yeah.
Well, you would think at the very least there'd be some kind of like person at the gate holding these horn dogs back. Because when you build a women's school right next to a men's school,
Yeah, we could
there's
have
got to
like
be a
an ogre
problem.
or something.
There's got to be a problem.
They could have had Ogre working security or something.
I mean, once it's college, everybody's fair game. But like in high school, these are still high school students. You got to protect them. I mean, nowadays, my kids in college, like they're dorming next to women. Women are in
Yeah.
their room across and stuff like that. So it's very different. But
Yeah.
back then, and
co-ed now, right?
It's co-ed everything. Yeah. And Bubba, when they're going through their hard times there, where after they dress in drag to get into the dorm, and Matthew Modine's talking to Bubba, and Bubba goes, "Ah, man, you should just forget about dumb old Chris." And Edmund's like, I don't want to hear you say anything bad about Chris. But dumb old Chris.
Yeah.
It's like, is that the best you can do, dude? Dumb old Chris.
This is what I got for you, Andy, on Phoebe Cates. She got cast in the top-billed role in this movie after a successful appearance in Fast Times, which had been made and distributed by the same Universal Pictures studio the previous year in 1982. Producers tried to get her to strip naked in several scenes, but she refused. The most she would do was flash her butt. So she refused for some reason.
I don't know why you hire someone that, if the entire reason for them to get naked and then they don't, you'd be like, well, you're fired and we'll get someone that does. If that's the whole reason.
I guess they didn't write it into their contract. Yeah.
The name.
Because the other girl had it in her contract, specific thing, so she wouldn't do the. Yeah.
It'll say 1 nude scene or 2 nude scenes.
So maybe they didn't have it in her contract, assuming she would do it. I don't know.
I wonder how that works with nude scenes, because you probably have to film them more than one time just to get the cut right. It could just like add a scene later on in the movie and be like, oh, now she's getting out of the shower again. She's topless again. But it's really.
Well, there was another movie, I forget what it was, that we did, and it said some of the producers were doing that because somebody had said it was the worst time they ever had on a set. I forget what movie
like being naked or something like that?
Did, yeah. I forget who said that.
I mean, you have to be very comfortable in your body to be jumping around on a horse naked with people
think
watching
about that.
and stuff like that.
You gotta have, there's 50 plus people on the set. You figure right away just as they're filming.
I wouldn't do it now because I don't want my boobs bouncing up and down on a horse either, man. Like that would suck.
So who was the intimacy coach on this movie?
Yeah.
Well, Paul Abdul did the dance. Maybe it was Ray Walston.
When they're bouncing down when they get in the rolls, when Bubba and
Betsy
get in the rolls, he is obviously on the right side of the car. The wheel is British version. It's a Rolls Royce. Yeah. He's on the right side. When he's driving down the hill, he's on the right side. There's a cut where it's obviously a stunt man. There's a man that doesn't look anything like Bubba with a shitty wig on.
He's a redhead.
I'm like, okay. But at the end, when Roy Walston pulls up to the graduation, he's on the left side. I was like, they obviously got a different car.
But I think it was even a different
supposed
color.
To be I
thought
it was just supposed to be the same car and the steering wheel's on a different side. But yeah, I guess that car kind of got ruined when it landed in the pool.
Well, you figure it was wife number 10, so that was Rolls number 10 too. You know?
I wish we knew what he did to earn all his money. Probably slavery or something like that. He seemed like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Or that. Drugs and slavery.
I think the slavery was more.
He was bringing fentanyl into the country.
Yeah.
In 1983.
So you're having parents' weekend.
He just has generational wealth.
You're having parents' weekend at your school, at your all-girls school, and the activity is for the girls to get into bikinis and play volleyball in the pool while the parents are standing around, like fully dressed in suits, drinking and leering at these young girls.
Yeah.
The first shot of the drunk dad, he's standing there looking at the model, and you just see these 3 girls walk in behind him and walk around in front of him and then leave. And I was like, that was just so blatant, just nothing but just walk behind him.
When they walked around him at first, I was like, oh, nothing's going to come of these girls like being. No. But then that's when he was eating the sandwich or whatever, and he's just like, oh, it just comes falling out over the model.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, that pool party scene was the best scene in the entire movie. I love that whole part. The car rolling down the hill and no one apparently being able to hit the brakes in the car.
Oh yeah, Ray Walston was the best character.
He was really good. He did a fourth wall break at one point. He kind of like side-eyed the camera.
There's no batteries not included though.
Well, nothing is.
That's what 88, I think, maybe it's a little later, right?
Yeah. And that Rolls had the curtains on the inside too, all the way around. Yeah. Like you could block off all prying eyes in that thing. That was more secure than the dorm rooms.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm running out of notes.
I want that Rolls.
You got any more notes, or you got a lot, or?
At one point when they're doing the odds, and I'm not sure how you figure out these odds when they were dressing as the guy, when they were dressing as the women, they were going in. No, sorry. It was when Bubba was going to get Jordan up into the room, and they were like 2-1, you get her in the room. 4-1, you get her shirt off.
Yes.
6. I'm like, I don't know how you.
The odds were updated.
I don't know how you factor out those odds. I guess a lot of people are betting money on it. But at one point, he says, "Mother ass naked." He's like, if you get her mother ass naked, I was like, is that a saying? Do we say mother ass naked in this country?
And then didn't he get on a payphone and call a bookie? And I'm like, Bookie is taking odds on
Vegas
this.
is setting those up.
Like, how did they know Bubba? I guess the bookie knew Bubba.
Listen, I'm taking some action from this private school, Cherry Valley. But they were
Cherryvale
and Boner Academy or something.
Something Mount. I have it
Yes,
here.
it was Mount something for the boys and Cherry something for the girls.
Cherryvale.
Cherryvale.
Cherryvale Academy and Fremont Academy for the
Fremont.
boys.
So, Dana, when you were in high school and you were going on a date with your boyfriend to give up your virginity for the first time, and all his friends came out to the car
to give me a send-off.
to be like, dude,
Yeah.
make sure you pinch your nipples. They really like that. And make sure you blow in her ear.
There
She
was a
really
whole
likes that.
parade that went
Did
along
happen?
with it.
Your guy
Yeah.
did the blowing in the ear to Bubba at the end.
But the fact that all those guys were like leading them out to the car as they're like about to go on their whirlwind weekend. Oh my God. I like the fact that
Miss Rams Jones.
and we all heard her made that reservation. There's no way that hotel was honoring that reservation.
She hung up right after that.
She hung up before she gave him any
Any
information.
kind of credit card or anything. I just want to make a reservation for Mrs. Jones. Okay, yeah, we'll hold that for Mrs. Jones.
Mrs.
Okay.
Rams Jones, I got it right here. Yeah.
I love that bellhop though, where the asking for the tip, and at one point Matthew Modine's like, "Oh, I'll just call room service. I want to give that guy a tip again."
See how happy he was getting though by the time he was giving him the other tips.
Just the fact that you wanted to give him another tip. I can't wait to give that guy another tip.
Was that guy in something else? I thought
He looked kind of
familiar.
like familiar.
Who, Matthew
but
Modine?
No, the bouncer.
The bellboy, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, bellboy. Right. Sorry. When he's got Jordan up in his room, Bubba, and he's now spilled the champagne on her, which should have been her exit cue right there. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of this rape dungeon here.
Yeah.
But she's
got
just gonna,
dressed.
I'll get naked instead. And do you have club soda, high school boy? Do you have club soda, high school boy? Club soda or whatever she wanted. And then he's like, I'll get you a towel. And he's going through the
had the
hamper.
washcloth?
And he's going through the dirty
Can't even
clothes.
imagine what's on those towels.
But he came out with a washcloth
He's
first.
like, nah. And then he went back in to dig deeper into the
I
hamper.
got one.
It's disgusting.
At that point, I'd be like, you know what? I'm taking my ruined dress and leaving. Thank you.
It wasn't a dress; it was a jumpsuit.
That's
It
right.
was a
So there's
jumpsuit, yeah.
Jumpers, right? Yeah.
Because
Which is
that
why
way,
it's stain
that way, when
resistance
he sprayed the champagne on her top, she had to take off everything.
Right, yes. You had to take the whole thing off.
That makes
Because
sense.
that's what she would have done instead of just leaving.
Right.
Did she want Matthew Modine that bad? Like, is he that appealing? Dana.
Was
See,
she working on a car
You
before
know
she
what?
got there?
I thought he was a cute kid.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Ah, man, I
he's
don't get
cute.
his
You know what it
appeal.
was? He's like 6'5".
Okay.
Do you know what
So-
it was? There were only 3 guys at that other
Yeah,
school.
apparently
It
there
was
were only
other
3
Bubba
guys.
And one of them was
Roy.
Bubba. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those other guys in the closet, though, they were all better looking than all those other guys.
Yeah.
All the random dudes that were just kind of
even in
money.
Nerd, right, with the
Yeah.
pencil.
Yeah.
He was even a decent looking
They were
kid.
good. Like, everybody in this movie was a good looking person except for Bubba and
Aw,
Betsy.
poor Michael Zorak.
It didn't help that he, like, perved
Michael,
it up.
please come on the podcast anytime.
I'm sure he'll be like, listen, they told me to perv it up on the set. I had to be the gross
Andy, is this
friend.
the time we should do our commercial? You want to do our read?
For what? For
Athletic Greens with it?
Do we have to like leave blank space in for that? I've noticed a lot of the podcasts I
They'll
listen
do
to.
that,
They
or-
just drop it in mid sentence
Yeah,
and someone
sometimes-
says it's a.
Sometimes
Here
they'll
comes
just cut and then throw it in or whatever.
I'd love to have commercials on this thing. Making people
Soon.
pay for listening
And then
to
our
this.
Patreon, that'd be great. We'll start making some money.
Yeah, okay.
You want to get to some scores now, or do you have any other notes or anything you wanted to bring up about this? Or
No, I think we pretty much covered
I think
it.
we did as well. So when we get into our scores, Dana, you want to start us off?
I would love to. This was a heaping pile of shit. It was by far the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Come on!
life. That-
Entire life. Name something I've seen that's worse.
Well, I don't know what you've seen.
Exactly.
but-
Yeah, really.
Serbian film,
I haven't seen
Oh.
it. I won't see it. I read the description. It was
Human
enough.
Centipede,
Oh, that was
I know you saw it's worse than this.
No,
Rubber.
Grease 2 is worse
Grease
than this
2?
movie.
absolutely
deserves an Oscar compared to this fucking mess. I give it a negative
Oh my lord!
10.
I don't think we can accept negative.
Are we going to accept negative scores, or should
From
you give
Dana,
it
we
a?
can. We can do anything with Dana.
Gotta be-
Negative.
It's got to be a positive score. We got it. There's no way.
0.
It's got to be
Point
a positive
zero.
score.
0.01.
Point zero 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 one.
She also gave Grease 2 99.99999.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
even with
Phenomenal.
even after seeing the Beesh.
Dana's
Yes.
on here for
Well, that bumped it up
conflicting
because it was a
opinions.
95 because of that one song I don't like, and then I bumped it up at the discovery of the wardrobe malfunction.
Wait, is that just? Are you just here to throw the curve off?
No, she's a huge Grease 2 fan.
Yeah, I'm a
but
huge Grease 2 fan.
we can't understand. Mike, go with your score, sir.
I'm giving you a less than equal to 1. That's what you're getting. Less than equal to.
Okay.
Is that where you draw the little alligator
the
mouth and then the line underneath? Okay.
I'll give it a 6.
A 6.
It's
Yeah.
at 0 to
No.
100 we do. That's our scoring system.
Oh, 0 to 100.
Yes.
Oh well, that I thought it was 1
Yeah.
to 10. Well then, I'll go 65.
Okay.
Interesting.
We should have told you the scoring
Yeah,
system.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your first time, and we're just throwing you in there. I'm going to actually show you my score, so you know I'm not lying when I say when I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking a lot about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I'm thinking about Last American Virgin. I was also thinking a lot about Class, the
Class
Rob
is
Lowe,
good, yeah.
Andrew McCarthy movie, which I wasn't a big fan of, and I was like, this is better than that. I gave Class a 60. I gave this movie a 65. Like, it's not terrible. I laugh sometimes. I'm sorry, Dana. I'm sorry. I laughed a couple times. It's a shitty movie, but I would watch this before I watch Class again. I gave Class a 60.
I don't think this is better than Fast Times, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. I gave it a 62. I'd watch it again if I had to.
Sorry.
This is probably about the 5th or 6th time I've seen it all the way through.
Oh, this might be the first time I've sat and watched an hour and a half
Well,
of this movie.
To be fair, the other times I saw it, I was between the ages of like 14 and 17.
I watched it back
Yeah.
then too, and I watched like 6 minutes of it. There were parts of this plot I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen this movie before. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this part before.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's just how I remember this part. Rotten Tomatoes, critics didn't give it a score, but the audience gave it a 38.
Interesting. I saw like Ebert gave it like a 2.5 out of 4. He was like,
He liked
as
it.
far as like sex
Yeah.
romps go, this is a fun sex romp. I'm like, okay, Raj.
What are we doing next week?
I just didn't find anything funny in it. I didn't laugh.
Even with the drunk dad,
No.
even
Not
with
the
Ray
drunk dad.
Walston, like,
No.
oh man, see, I thought that was so
No.
fun.
Even Bubba had a couple of stupid things that could have made you smile.
The ending smiled when it was over. I
Oh
smiled.
my lord!
I
Oh my
mean,
lord!
kicking off with Harry Nilsson, that started off with a nice
I didn't
little-
like the music at all.
Yeah, I felt this
I saw
music
Phoebe
was.
Cates sounded great in her
There
two
was
songs.
one song I knew. What song did they play that I actually knew was a hit? When
damn,
she was sad and she
They
left.
definitely played a song where I was like, oh,
When
this
she
is a
caught
hit.
him
And
with
like,
the girl when he was dressed up and she caught him and
remember
she
what
went
song it
running
was.
outside. It was a well-known song.
You're right,
I
it
don't know
was,
that
for
they ever
sure.
got to the words of that, and maybe it was just instrumental. But I did recognize it.
Just once.
It-
Wasn't that one, right?
I gotta go. I do want to go back because I think I still have it on rental for another 12
Yeah, you
hours
get
or something.
48 hours.
But I
When
want
did
to
you
go
watch
see
it?
and find Paula Abdul.
When'd you watch it?
First of all, I want my goddamn 81 cents back because I paid 81 cents to watch this
81
movie.
cents?
Mine was $2.99.
That's because I
mine
had
was
credits.
$4.29. It says on the app
tax.
$3.99, and I went on there and it said $4.29. I'm like, I don't want to pay $4.29 for this. I'm going to pay $3.99 for this.
But you got it on Amazon.
I did.
Yeah, then you have it for 30 days.
Oh,
so
well,
you
then-
can go
No,
back.
Danny, you wanna come
only
over and
have
watch
it
it?
once
Once you start
you
watching
have
it.
for 30 days to start watching
Oh.
it. Then you have
Then
it
you
for
have
48 hours.
Yep. Once you start it, you have it for 48
So
hours.
I started it last
Is that
night.
real?
So I have
That's
some
how
time
it
left.
works?
Yeah.
You only have 48 hours to
Yeah.
watch
You
it?
have 30 days to start it. But once you
30
start
30
it,
days to start
Yeah.
it, and then 48 hours to watch
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you start
How
it.
many times are you paying to watch a movie and then you go, oh, I'm going to rent this and then I'm not going to watch it for 6 weeks?
Yeah, you're gonna watch.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah,
pay
you're not-
to.
you're not-
That's why the 48 hours should be like 48 hours to
Yeah.
have it, because you're gonna watch it right then, and then
Yeah.
maybe you can't watch it the rest of this weekend. I need to finish it next weekend. You should have a month
especially
to watch
for a movie
it.
like Oppenheimer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know where the break in that movie comes, because we just stopped it at one point. I was like, I gotta stop watching this, and
I didn't get to stop. I watched it all the way through.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how I would watch this in the theater. I was hearing stories about Killer of the Flower Moon where people were like the
Oh,
theaters were putting
theaters were putting
intermissions
an
were in it,
intermission
and
and
they were
getting
getting
in trouble.
fined. But
Was that movie really long?
Yeah,
It's like
that's
over
almost
3
4
hours.
hours.
yeah, so
There's an intermission in that one?
No,
No,
there
but
isn't. But
theaters
the theaters
were,
were
like-
stopping
Yep.
it, and they
got in trouble,
were
right?
getting
Yeah.
fined by the studio.
My cousin Sal saw it. Said it's really
Yeah,
good.
the boys saw it. They both loved it.
Said it was really good. Yeah.
Oh, I really want to see it. I just don't.
It's got to be
It's
streaming
gonna be
on
on Apple soon,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'll watch
why?
it.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
And like I think
I don't know,
I think in
yes.
December, sometime in December. I think.
So right now, Oppenheimer's for rent.
It is
Yeah.
video on demand.
And
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
that's going to be available in December also.
I think I'm going to wait till December for that one, which isn't. I think it was
It's
the
a weekend
19th or
from now.
something.
Oh, December's a
like
week from now, sorry.
mid-December or whatever. I think I saw
Yeah,
it.
that's not going to be a movie you're going to sit and watch in one sitting.
Right.
It's just too long.
Yeah.
It's just too much. Like when we paused it the first time, we were an hour and 10 minutes in. I'm
I
like,
think
Yeah.
2 sittings is
God
perfect.
damn,
for
like
it.
Yeah.
hour and 10 minutes. And I already need to like. I got to stop right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Well, it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, but
most
I
of
don't-
his
I don't
movies
feel-
are like that.
yeah. I mean, Tenet. I
You
definitely
can't
didn't
tell
sit
anything
all the way
short.
through.
I didn't see
Tenet.
Tenet.
Oh.
Not anybody. I don't know anybody that liked it.
No, I want to see it.
We watched it and stopped the movie and started reading like the synopsis of it because I'm sitting there going like, what the hell?
Well, I think it's
It's
definitely
a
one of those
time
kinds
travel,
of movies
right?
that
Yeah,
and it's
just-
things
Yeah.
are going in backwards through time.
I
and-
like that kind of stuff.
But this is like
Yeah,
You
but
really gotta
there's
pay
scenes of
attention,
people
yeah.
like running backwards and running forward, so they're on two different time
Oh.
streams in the same shot.
so I have to pay attention. I can't be on my phone
yeah,
at the same
no,
time.
It's definitely no.
I remember the biggest problem with Tenet was that I couldn't understand anybody, and the
Yes.
version I saw didn't have subtitles. So I was like, I need to watch this again. So I
Who's that?
even
Robert
hear-
Pattinson? Is he in
Robert
it?
Pattinson and
Yeah, who's the main
John
guy?
Michael,
John Michael
Washington.
Washington, Denzel's
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. Okay.
Who's like, I don't know if he's a good actor or not. He's
Oh.
probably kind of plays the same guy in everything.
He was in that other
He
movie.
was in Amsterdam. He was really good in
not
that.
that one.
I like that.
What's the one?
Black Klansman.
Black
Black
Klansman.
Klansman. He was
Which
really
was
good
good.
in
He
that.
was really good in that.
Yeah.
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 What are we doing next week?
Well, we have
Did you say Paul's coming on?
Paul's going to come on the 10th to do Trading Places, but we can do. I think we do Christmas Story next week. I think we're going to start doing our Christmas movies.
Okay.
All right. Who's coming on for that? Anybody?
I don't think we have anybody.
I think
yet
I
for
could do
that.
Christmas Story without actually watching
I'm
it.
sure.
I
yes.
can too.
Yeah.
You
Which
could
will be
probably
good.
do Christmas Story right now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just got Ralphie's autograph recently.
That's right. Yes. And passed on everybody else, right? You had the chance to get all the
passed
other
on
kids.
everybody else. Yeah, I just wanted his.
if I
Interesting.
never have to see that movie
Yeah, I
again,
kind of feel the same way about that, but I definitely loved it at one point. But now it's like
No.
at Christmas time, I'm not watching Christmas Story. I'm watching,
Elf.
and I'm
Christmas
at the
Vacation.
point where
Bad
Elf, I'm kind
Santa.
of like Bad Santa, Christmas Vacation. I'll watch the kind of
Yes.
like more offbeat ones, not the happier.
Fat Man.
Now, Fat
I'm
Man.
gonna watch
watch
Fat
Fat
Man,
Man
yeah.
was pretty good.
And Violent Night.
Peacock,
That's out there.
yeah.
I remember when Violent Night came out last year. I was like,
It was a lot
I
of
want to
fun.
I might watch
see
that
this.
tonight. Yeah.
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 Speaking of movies like that, did you guys see Nobody?
Oh, yeah. I
Yes.
loved it.
That was great.
Not as good as John Wick, but
Well,
same thing.
Yeah.
Same
We
exact
just got his
concept.
autograph recently too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We didn't get we didn't get our picture.
Oh, that's
taken on
right,
set,
yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Or no, we missed
Where was
it.
he?
We missed it.
Bob Odenkirk, he was up in
Bookends.
North Jersey. Our new place to go. That's where I met Matt McConaughey.
When you were soaking wet.
I think we
God.
should do
That was
another movie
gross.
first, then do Trading Places, then Christmas Story.
Fine.
So
We just have to pick what that movie is.
Star 80 was one of the other movies I think
that's
we
right.
had, right?
Well, I think
oh yeah, that's a
Oh
happy.
God, what is that?
That's about the rape and murder of.
Oh,
of,
okay.
that's
Okay.
a true story.
The
That's the
yeah,
Playboy.
yeah, that's fine.
the play,
I'll watch
the
that.
Playmate.
Okay.
Dorothy,
When he said it's
was it
about a rape
Dorothy
and murder, I'm like,
Stratton?
oh my God. But now that
You
you
were
say
in.
it's about that, yeah.
Dana,
Okay.
this is the summer of rape or the winter of rape. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
apparently.
Last year was the summer of abortion. This is the summer of winter of rape.
Star 80 we have. Psycho 2 we could do.
Yeah.
Psycho 2 was good.
We
It was
couldn't
okay.
find Eddie and the Cruisers, so we couldn't. Let me see if that's streaming
Oh,
anywhere.
that I love that movie.
Eddie and the Cruisers, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it a lot as a kid.
I don't think I've
I
ever
think I
actually
had-
seen that movie.
I had a crush on Eddie.
I
so.
remember like that being such a big deal. I'm like,
Who's
I don't
that?
think I've
Michael
ever seen
Paré, right?
Hey,
Yeah,
I never
Michael
thought he was
Paré.
very good in anything.
I don't
No,
even know
he
who that
wasn't.
is.
I mean,
Sorry, Eddie and the Cruisers is not available
Not
at the
available,
moment.
huh?
I don't understand
I
how
know.
it's not available anywhere. It doesn't make sense.
Why
I
is
know.
it made
Okay,
of, like,
have you thought about Eddie and the Cruisers?
Yeah, but why is private school available? Why is mortuary available? Why is like
Yeah.
all these like kind of
Because
like
they're
lesser?
still 15-year-old boys.
I guess you're right, but there's 15-year-old girls that want to watch.
The thing
Eddie
is,
and the Cruisers, right?
it doesn't cost them money to make something available.
Just put it out
You
there,
put it
right?
out there for a couple bucks and leave it out there.
No, because they still have to pay the studios, the actors.
But I'm
still
saying if it's a Paramount movie, just put it on Paramount Plus, or
Yeah.
if it's a, I don't know what it is, but most of these movies, studios have the streaming
but a
services
lot
already.
of these movies that you don't see anymore are because the rights are tied up
yeah,
with
who
some
knows?
kind of.
I mean, these rights are so
They
like
do Flashdance.
Flashdance.
We could. I'm just saying.
That's a fun
That's what we
movie.
could
Never
do.
saw it.
Never saw it either.
We could do The Right Stuff.
That's a long
That's too
movie.
serious. That's too serious for us. And we'll figure it out.
We could.
That's
do,
all this year. What's left from this year?
Yeah.
We could do Hey Vern. It's my family album.
What the hell is
Wait,
that?
Hey Vern was by 83? I feel like that was
Hey
later.
Vern. It's
80s.
my family album. Right there. Yeah.
Wow. I
Oh,
thought
is that
was
Ernest?
like. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I felt
I
that
like
was
Ernest.
like a later kind of 80s
I think that's
thing.
before
We could do
Ernest goes
Crawl.
to camp.
what is it?
Crawl looks like fun.
That's a
Oh, who
That's
is that guy?
great.
Is that somebody famous? I can't tell from here.
That is Liam Neeson.
It is.
It is a great bad sci-fi.
Actually, no,
fantasy
that's actually
movie.
Ken Marshall right there.
Oh, okay.
But Liam Neeson is in it.
Oh,
Maybe
That's
we
an
should do that.
83 movie?
Yeah.
Is that available anywhere?
Let's see.
I never saw Crawl, so I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know
I
this
never
movie,
heard of it.
but
I saw Krull in the theater.
Nice.
But I also saw Christmas Story in the theater. So it's,
so did I. I didn't see Private School in the theater though.
Crawl is available. Stream. It's a $3.59. So let's do Crawl.
Okay, we'll do Crawl.
what? How do you spell it? What is
K-R-U-L-L.
K-R-U-L-L.
And that's for next week.
That's for next week.
I already know who we have on a guest for that one. Sounds like a
who's
Zach.
gonna be on for that?
Sounds like a Zach.
I was
kind
just
of
going to
movie.
think that might be a good one for Zach. If you can make it next week, I'll ask him. But I would, if not, I would probably go to Spreaker because that's where you can download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. It's an exciting new podcast on all our socials. The Jazoo over there on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This has been the Exciting and New podcast, and I'm Jason.
AEgonzo1 on Instagram, AEgonzo1970 on Twitter. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok and Twitter. Dana Caps77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
And I'm just Mike.
Mike, thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for
If
having
you
me.
Glad
felt
having you here,
comfortable, you're always welcome back. Now that you've
cool,
done
thanks.
it, now you've broken your cherry
1984 has
veil.
about 100 movies that we like, and
Okay.
so there's a lot.
So we'll be podcasting every other day.
Can I send you a list then?
yeah,
Of 84? Yes, for sure.
please do.
Please do. Oh, yeah. Bye.